Hi, my name is Leo Pine, and you're with Felissa Rose. And Felissa?
Hi guys, it's Felissa Rose, and I was just on with the 13th Wolfman.
Hey, everybody. As you heard, we got a small technical difficulty. We do get to hear what she has to say, so I'm glad enough to have Felissa Rose sit down with me at the sit down. Felissa, thanks for coming on.
Aw, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it, and I'm thrilled that we're at least getting to chat, right? This is fun.
Yeah, this is fun. This is fine. Like we said, we'll set up another interview. It'll be great, but this is good. Uh, of course, we're going to talk about sleepaway camp. I got to bring something up. Something I've always wanted to know, and it's like at the end of the movie we have the Schmeckle scene,
Ah,
right?
I like that.
Right? We have the Schmeckle scene. You were like 13 or 14 when you made the movie. Were you on the set at the time that scene was shot?
You know, I was 13 and I was not on set when they shot the actual nudity with the 18-year-old boy. They had me perform my last moment a different night, which was my actual last day of filming. But they, needed the close-ups and they had the decapitated head on me and the blood. And I did the scene where I'm kind of unbuttoning my blouse saying, let's go in the water. Hence the shrinkage from the lake. Never jump in any kind of water prior to taking your pants off, right, guys? So there was a bit of a shrinkage moment now. So blasting the guy who did the penis scene. I wish he would come out someday. But no, I wasn't on his set. I was on my set, and it was amazing. I knew something shocking was happening.
Right.
Little did I know.
Well, the other thing is, did your parents know about this scene, or was this like one of those things where it happens?
Absolutely, totally. They read the script. We all had to read the script. They knew exactly what the ending of the movie was, and it was such a fun slasher movie. It's like, how could you not do it? God only knows what my parents were smoking at the time, but they're like the coolest people in the world. My mom is absolutely amazing. My dad has since passed, but they were on the set. My mom was there the whole time, and they just thought it was like, the coolest experience.
So then when the movie came out, you were allowed to go see it.
Oh yeah, I brought my whole 8th grade class to the movie.
Oh, I wanted to be a fly on the wall that day.
Oh my God, it was crazy fun. Imagine like all these, little teenagers sitting in a movie theater watching one kid like just run around killing the other kids.
Imagine all these 8th grade girls getting a look at a schmeckle for the first time.
Oh, hello. The first penis I saw was my own. That's what I always say.
You need a shirt. You need a shirt with that on it.
Yeah, right. My first penis was my own. I have to get that. I like it.
Well, after Sleepaway Camp, you vanished from acting for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little about that?
Well, I went back. Obviously, I resumed junior high. I went back to 8th grade and I continued school. And I was doing theater in New York and a lot of commercials, a lot of auditions. And then really the time came when they were about to do Sleepaway Camp Parts 2 and 3. Michael Simpson called me in. And it was just not really a match. I wasn't very, that amazing Angela played by Pamela Springsteen was very, humorous. She was a lot funnier. There was a lot of dark humor and comedy in that. So I just didn't really, perform, I think, the way he had wanted that Angela to be. So I went on to go to NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, and I learned my craft of acting. And then, many years later, I sort of just decided, okay, I'm ready to come back to film and started again in the horror industry. So it was a nice way to get back to just really work in the genre.
That's really cool. So your kids more than likely know that you are an actress, but do they know you're a scream queen?
They've heard it a little bit around the house. I mean, just because we were talking earlier how my husband was really my number one fan. And he's such a huge, I mean, I'm a horror fan, but he like takes the cake. He's tremendous. I think he has seen every horror movie ever made, whether it's in some kid's basement or, big, mega mainstream film. So yeah, he's told them, and we've both gotten them into horror movies. They really enjoy them. We communicate with them about the actual artistry of, the making of film and the creativity, and they enjoy it. They started with like Tim Burton's Beetlejuice and Goonies, and the list goes on. So they get it. And they love that I'm in horror. They think it's like, so it's just the coolest thing. Their mom is a horror actress. They think it's really, I guess, better than being an accountant,
Yeah, I guess. No, I'm right there with your husband. I've been a horror fan since I was like 5 years old. I remember seeing your movie for the first time, like '83. I actually read somewhere that, your husband watched Sleepaway Camp as like a 8 or 9-year-old or something like that. And then little did he know that years later he's watching his future wife.
It's he loves the story, and he tells it over and over. He saw the movie, yes, when he was young. I think he was like 11 or something, and he watched it for the first time with his best friend, and they didn't like it. They stopped at the baseball scene. They said it was too boring. And for some reason, a different day, he decided, you know what, let me give that movie a chance. People say it's cool. And he popped it in again, and he watched it all the way through, and he flipped out and loved it and watched it over and over and over. And yes, he began to have like these secret kind of fantasies that he would someday, meet who he thought was Felicia Rose. My name is Felissa Rose, but he looked in the yellow pages and he said, one day I'm going to meet her. And sure enough, when he got his band together, he put the last shot, that close up of my face, on his guitar, on his CD. He went on Jackass, one of the first episodes, and he was wearing a t-shirt with that, face on. And I saw it. And sure enough, we struck up a friendship via email, and he invited me to all his shows. But I thought, oh, what a cute kid, he's many years younger than I. And then, slowly but surely, we talked more and more and more, and we were both single, and I invited him to the set of Return to Sleepaway Camp. And he took the red eye, and he came out with the band, and I met all the other guys. And then lastly, I met him, and it was like, hey, you want to spend the rest of our lives together? Sure. Okay. I was like that moment.
That's so cool. For the people that might not know, your husband is Darren Miller from CKY, Camp Kill Yourself.
Yeah.
Which in a way is a kind of a tribute to your movie.
It is. It's a tribute to all of the camp horror movies like Friday the 13th, The Burning. They wanted something that was interesting and yet kind of a take on horror movies, from the 80s. So Darren came up with Camp Kill Yourself, and then the label they signed with, I think it was Island Records. Maybe it was too extreme, so they abbreviated and, came up with just use CKY.
But everyone that's a CKY fan knows what it stands for.
Yes.
I'm a CKY fan myself, so.
Oh, that's cool there. Yeah. And he's awesome. He's a great, talented man.
You might not know the answer to this, but why is it that Robert Hiltzik never made any other films except for the Sleepaway Camp films?
Robert, it's funny because he was really young when we made Sleepaway Camp. He was 24. He had just graduated NYU Film School. And he just decided, okay, I'm going to make a horror movie. And then after Sleepaway Camp, he wrote another really cool movie that was with a studio, and it got to the very last step where they were about to make it, but it was such an intense film. I think it had to do with nuclear war, that they were nervous that it was too crazy, and they dropped it. And by that time, he had married our producer from Sleepaway Camp, Misty, and they had a baby on the way. And he just thought, you know what? If I still run with this game, there's no telling what could happen to me in the film industry. It's so unpredictable. And he decided to become an attorney. And, he has 3 beautiful daughters. They're still married. And, he would love to make more films, but it was just, again, one of those things where he became a lawyer, and he came back for Return to Sleepaway Camp. And I think he'd like to do more, but, life has such a way of kind of doing whatever it does, and he went on that journey. So hopefully he will come back. He's an amazingly talented and cool dude. I love Robert.
How does that work? You go to film school to become a lawyer?
Well, no, he went to film school. Right, he went to film school to obviously make movies, but then, during that kind of
No,
after
I
filming, yeah. I mean, he just thought, where am I going to make money? Let's say that. What's the truth? Where am I going to make money? And law was really the winner.
yeah, all his daughters were in Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah, gorgeous girls, like the most beautiful little girls. And
I
now they're older.
One's name was Emily,
Yep.
and I'm blanking on the
Samantha
other
and
two.
Lindsay.
Samantha and Lindsay.
Yeah, and Emily wants to become a producer now. In fact, she'd like to do another installment with the series. So who knows what can happen with
There you go.
Yeah,
Next gen.
definitely.
I always liked the woman that played your aunt.
Yeah, Aunt Martha.
Aunt Martha. I mean, you're talking about the way Pamela Springsteen brought up the comedy in the second and third film, but she was bonkers.
Yeah. Desiree Gould is such a sweet and amazing woman. And, that character had to be so kind of out there because look at, what she does to these
What she
kids.
did to Angela, yeah.
Look at what she did to Angela. Hello. Yeah. No wonder I'm such a lunatic.
I've seen a recent picture. She looks the same.
She looks exactly the same. They all do. I mean, Paul D'Angelo, who plays Ronnie, and Kathy Kami, who plays Meg, and Judy, and Johnny Tiersten. They're all,
it was no more than about 6 months ago that I put the connection together of Frank Sorrentino and Mike Sorrentino.
Is that crazy? So yeah, my best friend is Frank Sorrentino, and he played Little Peter. Maximo. Right. He's now Maximo Sorrentino, and he has his own show with his family, with his brother, The Situation, on TVGN, and they are the most beautiful family. And Frank and I now have a bunch of projects together. We just wrapped a film called Blood Reservoir, which is a crazy, camp slasher, not unlike Sleepaway Camp. And we wreak havoc together. We play these intense cousins. I don't want to give too much away, but and the cast is amazing. There's a whole bunch of incredible actors: Hannah Landberg and John Thomason and Jessica Mazzo and this great girl Andy Bayers. So yeah, and it was directed by Mark Del Negro. So look for that. It comes out October 24th.
Oh, definitely. I like I said, I'm a big horror fan. I'm always looking forward to the new stuff coming out. But yeah, I just thought it was weird. It's like all of a sudden I see the name Frank Sorrentino and I'm like, no, that's not. He's not related to the guy from the Jersey Shore. Yeah. And it's like, then you look at him and it's like, of course he's related.
And Frank looks the same, just like he did in Sleepaway Camp. Really? It's like this cute little face. He had that cute little Peter face, and he still has the same face. It's pretty amazing.
And then you got Jonathan Tristan.
Yeah, Jonathan Tiersten. He plays Ricky, and it's funny because we're all really, really close. We do a lot of conventions together, and Jonathan's in. How can I forget? Jonathan is one of the stars of Blood Reservoir. He's going to kill me. No. He plays this really unique kind of ghost character in the film, and he's amazing. He's a really talented guy.
That's really cool. I'm looking forward to this now. The more you talk about, the more.
Thank you. Yeah, you guys have to check out the trailer, and if you can, look at the Facebook page. It has a lot of updates, and the trailer is on there.
Is it true that you went to acting school with Adam Sandler?
It is true. He's a couple of years older than I am, but he was dating my cousin. She went to NYU as well. They were like 2 or 3 years older, and I used to hang out in their dorm, in the dorm room, and he'd play guitar, and we were both in Strasbourg. And he and I did, we had a friend at MTV. That's when like MTV was just really starting out. And they asked both Adam and I to do this Party Phone series.
I remember that series.
Too young. The Party Line series.
I remember that.
It was so fun. I mean, just the fact that I got to do like a little skit with him was, that's just, epic.
Because he also played Stick Boy on Remote Control.
Yeah. He started out there. I remember, and he was doing the Cosby Show. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. That's right. He was on the Cosby Show.
We knew back then that he was going to be the the huge star that he is.